Hey Stampers, Diane Dimich here with DDStamps.com, and today I'm here for my Thursday night tips, tricks, and techniques. So if you're out there, give me a shout, let me know you in the comments that you're there, a like, a share, whatever. Just let me know that if you can hear and see me. I am live on YouTube and I'm live on my website, but the issue with my website is I can't see any comments. So if you do make a comment on there, I'll catch up with it afterwards and answer any questions that I see on there. But if you have a question for me while I'm live, come on over to YouTube and ask it in the chat box and I'll be able to answer it right away. All right, so I am gonna, let's see. I'm trying to think, I couldn't remember if I did one last week, but I think I was out of town. So anyway, luckily our internet got fixed this afternoon. It was out most of the day, but I think it's working, hopefully. Hopefully you can hear and see me. So I'm just gonna go ahead and flip my camera. Oh, hi Vicki, yay, okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna flip my camera, talk a little bit about my tutorial for this month, which uses the Celebratory Sips bundle and suite. And so how my tutorial works is if you place an order with me, you get a free PDF as a thank you for any size order. If your order is over $50, I will put together a packet to make these cards, which are kind of cute, using the Celebratory Sips paper, some of the new in colors. This is Timid Tiger, and Strawberry Slush. And anyway, and I send you enough stuff to do all 4 cards, the ribbon, and the embellishments. So that's that. I wanted to show you this month's club. Card club is something new I started a couple months ago, and I just finished out this round of card club. I'm getting the packets ready to go out next week. But this also used Celebratory Sips, and I'm using that again tonight too. So I wanted to show you these cards. Again, using Strawberry Slush, but some of the papers, they're just really cool. They're beautiful. So Club is a monthly subscription, and I send you a packet with anywhere from $22 to $29, $27 worth of Stampin' Up! Products. So the paper, the ribbon, the embellishments, and then enough supplies for you to make 2 of each of the cards with envelopes, with a PDF and a video tutorial for that too. So if you're interested in Club, go ahead over on my Facebook or on my website, www.DDStamps.com, and you will be able to see what we got going on there. All right, so I am going to go ahead and get started. So the very first card I'm going to make, we're actually going to just use some basic white, thick cardstock, and then some basic white. So the thick cardstock, I already cut this down to 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it 4.25, and I fold it in half, and that gives me my base card size. And then I have this piece that I'm going to layer on here. But before I do that, I'm going to use some of the embossing folders from this Celebratory Sips suite. So this is called Glass and Gardens. And I don't think you can, yeah, you can see that. So that has that look of, like, I always think of the summertime plastic glasses. I love that texture. I'm going to use both of these tonight, but I love this one with the floral. This one I'm going to use right this moment. And I'm just going to go ahead and take this and put this layer inside my embossing folder. And I want it. It's a beautiful evening tonight here too. We did have a thunderstorm earlier this afternoon, but tonight it's absolutely gorgeous. In fact, I've got all the doors and windows open. And my dog is here, so she might go tearing out barking if, you know, a bike or a kid or somebody goes by, which usually happens. Okay, so the Glass and Gardens embossing folders, I'm going to go ahead and use this floral one first. And, hey Mary, you made it, yay. So this is just a regular embossing folder, so on your platform, let me grab my platform here. I'll try to get myself organized, we'll see. So when you're doing an embossing folder, you don't need the plate number 2, but you do need these other 2 plates. And when I do my embossing folders, I always put the part with the fold into my machine first so that all of the pressure and air comes out at the part that's opened. So I'm going to go ahead and run this through. And I do this, anything on my emboss and cut machine, I do off my counter because I don't have room. And it just helps me keep a little bit more organized. We'll see how I do. All right, and so when you see this, I hope you can see it. Anyway, it's so pretty. And just white on white. I didn't do anything fancy with this one, just white on white. And then I'm going to use some of the gold mesh ribbon, which comes in this suite too. It's very cool. I'm going to tie this into a bow. And so I know I've talked this before, but my bows, when I do them, I usually do 4 widths of the card that I'm going to tie the bow on. That gives me enough. If I'm just going to do a knot, I do 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And let me grab a scissor. Then I know I have enough to go all the way around that piece of cardstock and tie this into a bow. Like this. That gold is so shiny. I was making some cards yesterday with it, tying up some treat bags too, and I thought, boy, this is going to be a really pretty ribbon for Christmas because it's so shiny. Not that I'm thinking about Christmas yet, but I will say we do have a couple of things that are available to us as demonstrators for Christmas right now. And I know it seems crazy to be thinking that way. I want to get a little bit of summer in. All right, so I just did that. And then I'm going to take a label from this Mixed Labels. This is the Mixed Labels dies, and I'm just going to use this one here. It's got kind of a edge on it. And I'm going to do this on just a piece of white cardstock. But before I do that, I'm actually going to go ahead and stamp a couple of images, and then I can cut them all out at the same time. So I want this one. All right, so I have, let me grab a block here. And I'm going to color them with blends, but I'm going to use Secret Sea is one of the new in colors. It's a really dark, dark blue. So like years ago, not years, a couple years ago, Hail Navy was the big color for people's houses. That's what this color reminds me of. But because I'm using blends and this is a classic ink, it's a dye-based ink, I can color with blends and it won't bleed with this classic ink. So that's kind of a nice little perk. Any of our inks will work like that. I'll do one of these too. So those are all done in that navy. And then I'm going to cut this out. But before I do this, I'm going to grab the dies and just show you some of the dies. Oh, there's some in here still. All right, so I'm going to need this one because that matches up to that, and this one matches up to this. And I'm going to show some of these in my next card, but I just wanted to show the dies. So this is actually cuts out one of the cups, and this one is too. And then this one has, you can, do a fancy texture on your cups, but I'll show you on this card where I just did that fancy texture right in the back on that panel. So it's just kind of a fun looking texture. Those are the dies for this particular set. All right, and so once I've got these on here, how I do it is I line them up. I grab a little Post-it tape because I don't want them to move. Once I've got them lined up, kind of hard to line them up without putting my head right in the camera. Close enough. I'm going to tape that one down too, just so it doesn't slosh around. All right, so I'm going to cut these out, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to have to cut that one out because I need them all. And my platform. And so this time, because I'm doing dies on my platform, I need to have the first platform, plate 1, plate 2, my first plastic plate, and then my second plastic plate over the top, and that's going to go through the machine. And run this through. I can use this Post-it tape over and over and over. I kind of save it. Like tonight when I'm done, I'll just put it on the handle of my cut and emboss machine, so it's always there and ready for me to use when I need it. But I wanted to show you the little texture on that label. Just a little bit of texture. That's going to go on there. Let me pull this one off. All right. Didn't do a very good job of taping this one down. Get that back on there. And I'll run this through the machine again, and I will be right back as soon as I find the plastic plate for the top. All right, did anybody, oh, here it is. Did you see where I put it? And there, I've got that piece cut. All right, so my card pieces are cut and almost ready to go. I do have to do a little stamping of a sentiment, which I will do. Let me pull these out of here. The tape is sticking to me. Grab this one. All right. Set this aside over here, and then I'm going to go ahead and color these, and I'm just going to use a couple colors that I have here. I've got strawberry slush in the dark blends, and because this is so little, I'm just going to use the one color and just do a little bit of color onto this image. And then this one too. And I'm not going to blend it out because they're so tiny that you wouldn't be able to see me blending them. Sometimes I just use my markers, like any old marker, and just use the one color. I like how it looks and it doesn't have any lines in it. And then we'll do this one in the, and I'm using the light lemon lime twist on these because I wanted a green, but I wanted a green with a little brighter green. So I went with lemon lime twist. It's not a color that I use very often. All right, I got that. And then I'm going to go ahead and take, there's a couple of sentiments in here, and they're real tiny, so they're really good on strips of paper. And I'm going to show that in the next card. But I'm going to go ahead and use Let's Celebrate It's Your Day. I use both of those. And I can actually, if I want to, add them to a block. I just got to make sure that they're both right side up. And then, so I put them both on one block. It looks fairly straight. And then I'm going to take my little label that I made here and go ahead and stamp those on there. Looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to close up this ink pad so I don't end up with ink all over. And let me grab my glue and my tape. And I think we'll put this on with dimensionals, which I've got here. Now, when I do a label like this and I've got ribbon that's going to go through it, I do like to make sure that the ribbon kind of gets caught up in that groove of those dimensionals, just so that it kind of holds everything in place. I took the backings off that. I'm going to just go ahead and set that on there. And then these other pieces, I'm just going to go ahead and add them on with either adhesive or the green glue. But this is a super easy card. I kind of was busy all the way up until 6:30, and I hadn't really made a plan. So I was like, okay, well, we're going to do something pretty easy. And I'm going to add a little green glue to this. And the only reason I did is because my seal is wider than that. So I'm going to add that one on there. And I'm going to add that one here. And then this whole piece is going to get added onto my card base. And I just truly love the look. I don't know what it is, but I like the look of it layered with a border around it, and then that ribbon coming out from behind that, peeking out behind that card. I'm going to trim off my ribbon a little bit. It's a little, just a little longer than I wanted. But as you can see, when I do that measurement with the 4 widths, that's all the ribbon that I've actually wasted. Hey, Jana. So that kind of makes me happy. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some embellishments on here, and I pulled these out today because I think they all look good with this gold ribbon. These are actually the embellishments that come with the celebratory sips, and I'll use this on the next card, but I thought these might be kind of cool because I have a bunch of them. And I'm just going to add them onto my card. And you know I like to do things in like odd numbers. So there's one, put one here, and one here. I don't know, I always seem to put 2 in 1. Anyway, there's a really quick and easy card using that celebratory sips in a totally different way, so it doesn't look like the other cards that I did. The other cards were all bold, bright, beautiful colors. This would make a beautiful sympathy card. You could put anything on that label. But just a really simple put together card. All right, next card. We are going to use some of the paper. So I'm using the celebratory sips paper, which, let me grab it. You'll see that I've been using it a lot. I have all kinds of scraps in here, but this paper, it truly is beautiful. I mean, look at that. And then it's got some florals, a whole sheet of drinks, some more florals, and then a whole sheet. There might be a sheet missing out of here. Oh no, wait, there we go. And then this whole sheet. So this is what I'm using right now. I'm going to be using this on the next card. And these actually can be used as cups. So you can cut them out with the dies. For instance, this die. You could stamp the image, the cup image on there, which is what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to cut it out with that die. So you'll see that. And then this sheet. Oh, it's way down here. And then there's this whole sheet, which is lots of cups. And if you saw my tutorial, my YouTube video a couple of weeks ago, you will see where I put clear tape on the cups and made them shiny. I wanted to show, this is that same background. This is the same background. You can see where I cut a couple cups out of here. I'm going to use this scrap. But here I just used it as background paper. So lots of different ways to use that. All right, so we're going to start again with a base. And this is the basic white thick. So it's 8.5 by 5.5. Scored at 4 1/4. We are going to use this piece, but this time we're going to emboss it with this fun embossing folder. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that in there. And again, it's a thin one, so I only need to use my platform and then my 2 plastic sheets. And again, I set down that plastic sheet somewhere. Found it. Trying to keep myself organized. It's not working so well. All right. So I end up with a piece of embossed paper, and you could use either side, that looks like this. I want you to see that. So that is the debossed side, so it goes into the cardstock, and this is the embossed side, where it comes up out of the cardstock. So it's just kind of fun to do a couple different looks with that. I'm going to go ahead and put this onto my card base. One of the things you do have to kind of worry about, once you've embossed a piece of cardstock, you've broken down those fibers. And sometimes with like my seal, it will pull some of the, sometimes it pulls some of the paper up. I'm just going to lay that on there, and you can just see I just did a layer. It didn't go all the way across. I just cut up, it's like 3-inch strip. 3 by 5, I think it was. All right, and so then I'm going to go ahead and use, we're going to stamp quite a bit now. So let me, and I'm going to go ahead and still use that secret seed. I really like it. Can you tell? All right, so I have this cup here, and I'm going to pick up the bottom You'll see I moved it over because I really like this yellow in here. But you just stamp it and pick up some of the colors. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the little cup. Do the same thing. And then, so these are going to get cut out with these dies. I'm going to set all this up so I only have to run it through once. So I'm going to do that. And then I'll take this one and tape that down. This is ready to go. Let me grab the platform. Again, I'm using dies, so it's plate number 1, plate number 2, plastic plate, and then your paper. I'm going to set this down for a second because I'm going to go ahead and cut. Let me find a piece of, what did I do with that? Oh, here it is. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stamp a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm going to stamp a lemon or an orange, depending on how I color it. And then a strawberry. I have to be careful because I got that kind of too much ink on my block. I'll just go ahead and wipe that off so I don't end up with secret C all over. A strawberry. What else? Oh, one of the, where is, I've already lost a stamp. It's got to be here. Oh, here it is. It's terrible. One of these. And last, we're going to do an umbrella. We'll have a little umbrella drink. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp those. And just because it'll be easier, I'm going to color them on this piece of cardstock before I cut them out. So I'm going to take the strawberry slush and color in my strawberry. I believe this is light. Yeah. And then I'm just going to highlight just one side of it a little darker. These are so juicy. And then I'm going to come in with my lemon lime twist and do those as my leaves. And I'll do this one the same as I did the last card. Whoops. It's all right when I say oops, because you don't want your cards to be too perfect. You want people to know you made them. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and color the umbrella. And I'm using Daffodil Delight. And color every other one the light color. And then I'll come in with a Daffodil Dark. And color the other two parts of the umbrella. And again, I'm not really blending with these blends, I'm just coloring with them. Lots of different techniques you can do with them. Tonight we're just going to do a little bit of coloring. Like I said, I like the look of the blends because you don't see any lines. Sometimes with markers you see lines. And it looks good. All right, so there's the pieces of fruit that I wanted. So let me grab, I'm going to need the umbrella, the strawberry, the branch, and the lemon. And again, I'm going to go ahead and tape those down. Just kind of set them where I want them. And hope they don't move. I better shut that ink pad before I have ink all over my knuckles and hands. All right, so there's those pieces, and they're all going to go onto the platform with those cups, and we're going to cut them all out at the same time. So I will be right back as soon as I find the top of my sandwich for the cut and emboss. All right. All righty. Pull these out. Put this aside for now. Oh, this one didn't cut all the way through. It must have been hanging off the edge. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and run this through. Just that one side didn't cut, so let me fix that. There we go. There's that. And then I'll pull these pieces out. All right. Let me move this tape off my fingers. So here is our card base. Now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to actually stamp. There's a little straw in the stamp. It's just a tiny little straw. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that on my cup, just so that I have a place that I can put the umbrella. And so this piece we're going to add onto here, and then the umbrella we're going to actually add with a dimensional. Just gives it a little bit of lift for your drink. And then I'm going to take this drink and I'm going to add this one with dimensionals. And I'm just going to put 2 on there, not getting too carried away. And add that next to it. Kind of coming off that corner a little bit. Now I have to find all my parts and pieces. All right, so here is this little branch. Will be coming out of there. It's probably mint or basil or something. I don't know. What is it? And then this one, this lemon is going to be put on there, but I'm just going to put a dimensional right to the top of that because it's going to lean on that glass. So this one dimensional will just give it that little bit of lift so it lays flat. And then the strawberry, I'm going to add with a dimensional. Here. So just kind of a fun put together card with some stamped images. Now these pieces, these are actually scraps. I always cut 1/4 inches off a lot of my cardstock, 1/2 inches, 3/4 inches. I kind of keep them because there's always something that you can do with them. As far as a stamp set or a sentiment, I mean. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Let's Celebrate. And it works perfect on these little 1/4 inch strips. It's so tiny. All right, so once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and trim this off. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it straight. Like that. And then I actually want to add this with dimensionals onto this border of just basic white, just a scrap that I had laying around. However, I want it to have a little pop, a little color to it. And I could have done this before, you could do it after, but I'm going to take my blends and I'm just going to color right over the top of this and make it strawberry slush in the light color. Just to give it a little bit of a pop on my card. But it's kind of a fun way to change up your cardstock and make it coordinate with the coloring that you did in your project. I'm going to go ahead and use my little mini dimensionals, and they actually fit perfectly on this 1/4 inch strip. Pull off those backs. Oops. Glad I didn't throw that into the ink pad. And then I'm going to add this right on to this piece of white and give it just a border. So you can see I just did like a border around it. And then I'll trim this off. And that is ready to go onto my card. I'm just going to put it on with a little bit of seal. And then it kind of coordinates with the strawberry. But kind of a fun way just to add some dimension, some coloring without a whole lot of cardstock. You can always color your cardstock, whether it's with ink or with a blends or a marker. All right, so we have these great little iridescent dots. I'm going to add some. These always remind me of those, are they Bobo dots? No, what are they called? They're really big. Young kids like them. But they're like little bubbles that they add to your drinks. So there's that one. All right. Those are the 2 cards. Let me find the other one. Kind of a totally different looks with these cards. And then when you add in some of these other cards that I've done, you just get a totally other different look with that same suite of products. I love this one. That's one of my favorites. Anyway, I will post these to into my newsletter tomorrow with PDFs with the measurements, pretty easy, and pictures of what I made. And so if you're not on my email list, jump on my email list, and I will send that out tomorrow. All right, I know it was a quick class tonight. I do have some other stuff that I've been working on. I kind of want to show a couple things. So I have been working with, I'm probably never going to remember the name of it. Let me look. Gallery Blooms. Actually, the paper, let me change my, so I've been doing some stuff with some of the products. This was a Gallery Blooms product thing I did. I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet. I haven't decided if this is going to be a class or if it's going to be what, but just some really fun projects. I love this one. Using some colors I don't normally use. Mossy Meadow, I haven't used that for a long time. And then today I was working on, I have to tell you, I went to Newport last week. I was in Newport. Yeah, I came home on Wednesday. Anyway, and you know, it's Newport, so there's a port there with sailboats and everything, and it was really fun, and it inspired me to get this stamp set. I love this card. I'm not quite finished. It's going to have some embellishments on it, but it's kind of nice to just have a stand-up card. And then this one I made today using the arches. I finally folded and bought the arches and used them today. So not quite finished with those, but those are some projects that are coming up. I did do, oh, another tutorial. Here's a sneak peek in July. I had to think about what the date was. So it'll be July. These are going to be online exclusives. This is Charming Day. So pretty. The paper is really gorgeous, and I'm a sucker for florals. Love this one. Those colors are just Night of Navy. Who'd have thought? So just some fun cards that I was playing around with the paper and stuff. But those are some of the projects that I've done. This Charming Day, like I said, is coming out on July Tuesday. So it must be like July, I don't know, 3rd maybe? I don't know what July 4th is. Anyway, whatever the first Tuesday in July is. So there'll be a whole nother there's a whole bunch of online exclusives coming out. Don't forget about the suite sale. So buy one product, whether it's the whole suite or part of the suite, you get the second product at 50% off. So you kind of want to look at those suites and see, and I kind of recommend it to people, you know, get together with a friend and share that sale, and then one of you you get the suite for the regular price. You can get another suite for 25% or 50% off. Both could get 25% off. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, if you need help figuring out that sweet sale, just send me an email, call me. I've been helping people all month. I want to make sure that you get the best deal. And what it does is whatever the 50% off item is usually the cheapest item on, the least expensive item on your order. So I want to help you get that correct. Oh, it's July 1st. Well, maybe that's what it is. Thanks, Mare. It might be July 1st that they're all coming out. Anyway, lots going on. So I will be here next week, and then I'm going to take a couple weeks off in July because I have a whole bunch of family showing up. We're going to have a family reunion that kind of got planned on short notice, but it's good to get together when you can. So anyway, take care, and I will see you all. If you don't have any more questions, I'll see you all next Thursday. Bye-bye.